First of all, I'd like to say that what this amendment does is that it defines public use. We already have in the Constitution the right of eminent domain. And then we defined it now by statute. And as time goes on, the statute becomes eroded to where a lot of us don't particularly like it. And that's because the people are getting hurt. This bill basically is a bill of people's rights. And I'm not here opposing utilities or railroads or road builders or anything else. I'm here for the people of Virginia on this particular amendment. Let me tell you one of the reasons we spent a lot of hours on this bill, and we're down to a portion of the bill. And just for briefness, I'll tell you where some of the opposition lies. And if you look at line 32, in the part that, if you start on line 31, just compensation shall be no less than the value of the property taken. It's all right. Inserted was business goodwill and access loss. Okay? And damages to the residue caused by the taking, and damages to the adjacent property taken by caused by the taking. The new language there are two parts to it. One is not that, if I can say, that much opposed, and that part is damages to the adjacent property caused by the taking. Let's say that you have a piece of property, you own a piece of property next to a parcel that has been taken by eminent domain for whatever reason. And half that parcel was taken by eminent domain, the first piece. The second piece, because of the taking, you got some building going on, and it breaks the windows out of the adjoining piece of property, but you don't take any of that property. There's no taking, okay? And that was the reason that we added damages to the adjacent property caused by the taking. And it's pretty specific legally. It has to be a cause of the taking. So one of the things I would like to say is that this is already in the statute. And what we're doing is redefining public uses, okay? Secondly, on line 32, we've included business goodwill and access loss. For example, if you build a 4-lane highway out in a rural area or in a city area you're going through, and on the side of the road there's a gas station, and you close that gas station, they got no access. Today they have no right whatsoever by losing that access. And what does that mean? You close your gas station and leave? None of your property was taken, so you just lose it. That's not fair. It's not fair when you're talking about, and I hate to mention the locality, but down my way, in Tidewater, for example, there were some homes that were taken by redevelopment housing. And they were taken, there was nothing wrong with them. But because one block away from that house, there was a house that was deteriorated and people moved out and left it. And so what did they do? They took 8 blocks, okay? And they turned around and sold it for a higher price than what they gave to the people who lived there, just for the land. That's not right. A man and a woman work all their life to get a home. And what happens? You go in there and you take that home and sell it to a private developer? For what purpose? You know, it's not right. So all I'm saying to you is those 2 points are the real points of contention in the bill. The business goodwill and access loss, and then some of the road builders are objecting also to the damages adjacent to the property caused by the taking. And it's limited to caused by the taking. It's limited. And those of you who are attorneys understand that point. Now, some people say, well, it's a tougher bill than what you had here on the Senate side. It might be a little tougher, yes. But we're doing this for the people. And why should we have this in the Constitution? Why should we define public use? There's no argument on those lines 36 and down. They're okay. The argument that we have are those that I've just outlined to you, basically. So all I'm saying is, why shouldn't we have it in the Constitution where a person is guaranteed his rights? For the first time ever, we have had utility companies in the Constitution having the right of eminent domain. Go back years and years, and you'll not find that. This is the first time ever. And I understand that they have a few problems with the bill as it stands now. But the bill is for that private individual citizen. And that's the basic reason for this bill. That's the basic reason for saying that we're going to put in the Constitution the definition of public use. And that's basically what we've got. And I think this cures most of the problems. But when we start talking about lost money, who's losing the money here? The citizens back home are losing it. They're the ones that are being cut out of all this. You know, it's not fair. Yeah, I don't practice this type of law. So I'm not that well versed in it.
Cassius, you might start now.
Yeah, I might start. No, I'm beyond that stage. But seriously, you know, when we're talking about cost, it's going to cost the highway department X amount of dollars more. Well, that's all right. Just take a couple houses and kick the people out and put them in a nursing home. Get rid of them. Who cares? You know, let's talk about who this bill affects. Not bill, constitutional amendment. What rights are being protected? And go all the way back to England and talk about the constitutional rights, how they came about. You know, we're talking about private citizens. We're talking about people out there on the street. I'm not here for me. And as I told the committee the other day, in 10 years from now, they're probably not even going to know who Joannou was. He'll be dead and buried. You know, the important thing is that our children and grandchildren have the right to say, no, you can't take my property. You don't have a right to take it, and you got to pay me just compensation if you want to take it. What happens to that 65-year-old, 75-year-old man and woman that have been married for 40 or 50 years, and you take their home and kick them out and they go to a nursing home? Oh, that's all right. No, well, forget, the highway department doesn't want to lose another $20,000 on a home. No, let's not do that. Let's talk about a company in Norfolk, all right? Not too long ago, Central Radio. It's located, has a business in Norfolk. It's a Navy contractor, and it's with it has a contract with the Navy Department, and they're in the business of having a central radio. I'm sorry, I'm excited. And I'm reading these notes.
We didn't notice.
Well, let me tell you something. You know, this is not for me. This bill is not for us. It's for the people we represent. That's who it's for. You know, and I don't know how to express that any more than I can. I'm not here against the utility companies. I'm not here against any of those companies. Not at all, not one bit. But the people deserve a break. They deserve this right. It's been in the law for years, and what have we done? We've taken the words public use and shoved them over and put them in a statute and have eroded it. And now the Supreme Court came up and said, well, it's your decision, state. You do what you want to do. That's fine with me. You know, I've got statements here where the NAACP came in, where the Southern Leadership Conference came in. I can bring all those up to you and give all these reports to you. But that's not important. What's important is the person that you represent back home. That's who I'm doing this for. I'm not doing it for the utility company or for the highway department or anybody else. I think I have an obligation, each and one of us have an obligation to the people we represent. And that's the only reason a bill like this ought to protect the rights of citizens. And that's what we're going to talk about. If you want to talk about each issue they brought up, I could do that too. But I'm not going to sit here and waste your time. The most important thing is the people we represent. Let's give them a right. This bill is not a bill. This resolution has to go through 2 times. And then the people have to vote on it. You know that, and I know it. If it's a bad piece of legislation, if it's a bad constitutional amendment, they're going to kill it at the polls in 2 years. Next year, you got to have another bill just like it come before you again. You take a look at it. You listen to the people what said back home. Let's get this bill through this year. And then get a reading from the people back home how they feel about it. I'm just saying to you, that's who we represent, and that's why I'm here today, and I hope in the bottom of my heart that y'all reach a position where you can send this bill out. Thank you very much.